Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me for this. I'll probably say it's quite a fiery flow. Today's class we're going to focus on side crow. If you usually practice with props or you would like to today, then I would definitely recommend using some blocks or some bricks. If you've never done a side crow before, I would definitely recommend using some blocks, some bricks if you can. Once you've got everything you need, you feel ready, I'll meet you here on the mat. So we'll start at the back of the mat, coming into a child's pose. Big toes together, knees nice and wide, sink your torso between the hips. If you want to take a different variation, then obviously you're more than welcome to. If you feel like you're really high up and you're awkward, feel free to pop yourself underneath the sitting bones or underneath the head, okay? I really want you to feel comfortable in this practice. I don't want you to have to feel like you're struggling. I want you to be nice and easy throughout this whole thing, okay? So just begin to rest and sink the forehead into the mat. Soften into your joints. Soften into your muscles, the ligaments. And for now, we'll just breathe nice and naturally. Noticing the flow of the inhales and the exhales. And then we'll begin to slow down the breath a little bit more. Taking those big inhales through the nose, expand into the belly, the ribs, the chest. And then as you exhale, empty it all out. Allow yourself to soften. Taking those big inhales through the nose, and easy exhales through the nose. And as you find your new controlled breath, just notice how the mind feels. Notice your emotions. And just ask yourself, what is it that you need from today's practice? Versus what is it that you want? Remembering to listen to the mind and listen to the body. If at any time you need to take a break, please come back to a child's pose or any other position. And if you feel like you've lost that nice soft inhale through the nose, nice exhales through the nose, then please take a rest and then press play when you're ready. You can stay here a little bit longer. You can just always hit pause. Great thing about videos. If you're ready to move on, keep reaching the fingertips out in front of you. Be so active along the arms that the elbows and forearms lift up. Spreading across the shoulder blades, sending the armpits towards the ground. Take a big inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, walk the arms over towards the left. Create a banana shape in the upper back. And remember to keep sinking the butt towards the heels and pressing the right armpit into the ground. Inhale, walk it back through center. And then as you exhale, walk the arms over towards the left. Keep pressing the left sitting bone into the left heel as you keep reaching over with the left fingertips. Soften into the neck and the frown. And then walk it back to center, child's pose, arms in front of you. Hands about shoulder width distance apart. Make sure they're not elbow distance apart. And then roll it forward, come into your hands and knees, tabletop position. So tabletop position, knees are underneath the hips. hands roughly underneath the shoulders. We're just going to quickly warm up into the wrist as you rock forwards and backwards. Keep pressing into the knuckles, especially into the inner palms. So we'll just rock forwards and backwards, just warm up into the wrists and the forearms. So a really common thing for people who practice yoga, or anyone who really does a lot of flexion work, placing the hands onto the ground, it's really common for the inner palms to lift up. But when we bear weight into her hands, it's really super important to keep the inner palms, the index knuckle and the middle finger knuckle, to be grounded. Yeah. And then we'll turn the fingertips sideways, rock side to side. The hands are super important, but often, along with the wrist, obviously neglected in a yoga practice. But, the hands and the wrists are the foundation into a lot of postures. So it's always a good idea to warm up into the wrists. If that makes sense, because I'm, gibbering. Turn the fingertips towards you, inner wrist face forwards. And then keeping the palms grounded, we'll just gently rock forwards and backwards. If this feels too much, just walk the knees in a little bit more and then rock forwards and backwards. And keep breathing. And then turn the back of the hands towards the ground, palm faces up. And then just rock forwards and backwards. So this one is particularly good if you do a lot of flexion work. So if you're typing or on the phone a lot, this is always a really good one. Just stretch into the top of the wrist. And then slowly release, shake it off. This is like one of my favorites. I mean, it doesn't look a lot, but when you do it, it's a great one. So you're going to reach the arms forwards and really press into the palms. And all we're doing here is just flicking the fingers super, super fast. Go really fast, warming up into the forearms. Go fast. We'll be here for, I don't know. Let's just keep going. Keep going super faster, faster. I see you. So in our yoga practice, it's really important to listen to the body. Yeah, know when to take rest, know when you can carry on, and know when you can go further. That's the whole point of a practice, is to create that body awareness, to let go of the ego. So, always important. Keep flickering. We'll go for 10, 9, 8, keep smiling, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shake it off. Woo, it's always a killer. That one always gets me sway. Right, reset in your tabletop position. So remember, hands shoulder width distance apart. You want at least the index finger facing forwards. Yes, when hand placements get sloppy, when you roll in, things become really sloppy, and then that's when you create bad habits. Nip it in the bud when you can. If you feel you're a bit tight in the upper back, in the shoulders, or you've got wrist problems today, you can turn the index finger and the fingers out a little bit more. Knees underneath the hips. We're coming for your cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, pull the chest through, the arms look up. And then as you exhale, push into the ground, around the chin towards the chest. A few more like that. And so you can really connect movement with the breath here. If you want to take any of the shapes, you're more than welcome to. And gradually find your stillness here. Nice neutral spine. When often we're in tabletop, I see this. So the belly goes, the ribs goes, this back bend starts to happen, and again, it looks and feels messy, right? There's no engagement. So belly button in towards the spine, ribs in and down. Firm the glutes together. You're going to tuck the toes under, and then right away I want you to think cat pose. Round into the upper back, spread into the shoulder blades. Nice long neck, so the gaze slightly shifts out in front of you. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, hover the knees above the ground. Keep finding that scooping action in the pelvis. Keep breathing. So you shouldn't be lifted too high up. If you lift the hips too high, it kind of takes it out of the core. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, send the knees over towards the left, and then back to center. Twisting left, center. Left for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep breathing. 3, don't lift the hips too high. 2, 1. Release the knees to the ground. Step your right foot forward. Left hand roughly in front of the shoulder or underneath the shoulder. Left knee scooches back behind you, easy twist towards the right. You can stay here if you like, tuck the left toes under, lift your left knee off the ground. I'm stacking the left heel on top of the toes. Nice long distance between both feet to avoid this right outer hip sticking out. Keep pushing into the left hand, take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, release the right hand to the mat, sweep your right leg back behind you, 3-legged dog. Maybe roll around the hips if you like, roll around the ankle. And then release the foot to the ground, downward facing dog. If this is your first downward dog of the day, then just keep the knees bent. You know, even if you've got tight hamstrings, you need to keep the knees bent to keep that nice long spine here. Nice long lower back. And shift the gaze out in front of you. As you inhale, roll forward, find your plank pose. Feel free to drop the knees behind your hips for the first one, which is what I'll show you to do. You're going to shift it forwards, wrap the elbows in. Nothing changes in the body as you lower yourself slowly all the way to the ground, nice and controlled. Point 10 toes, inhale, find your baby back bend, activate into the glutes, the back, and then as you exhale, push into the hands, seat to the heels, child's pose. Just turn around for you. Reaching the hands out in front of you, spread into the fingers. As you inhale, roll forward, think cat pose, puff up in between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, move through the cow, bring the seat to the heels. The head is the last to tuck in. 1, 2 more like that. Inhale, roll forwards. And as you exhale, back. One last time, inhale, roll forwards. And as you exhale, back. This time around, the inhale, roll forward. And then as you exhale, just settle into a tabletop. So feel free to adjust yourself as much as you need to. Remember the hands and the knees. We'll tuck the toes under. Scoop, round into the upper back. Squeeze the 2 forearms together. All these little cues will make sense and will really help you at the end. Hover the knees above the ground. Nice long neck, keep breathing. Take a big breath in, and then as you exhale, twist the knees towards the right, center, right, center. For 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Release the knees to the ground, step your left foot forward. Right knee scooches way back behind you. And then easy twist towards the left. You can stay here if you like, tuck the back toes under, lift your right knee off the ground. Send your right shoulder forwards, and then twist from the upper back. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, hands to the ground, 3-legged dog, left leg sweeps up. Maybe again, roll around the hips if you like. And then settle into a downward dog. Bending into the knees if you need that to happen in order to keep that nice long lower back. Shift the gaze out in front of you. As you inhale, roll forward, find your plank pose. Feel free to drop the knees to the ground. Shoulders and the hips in line. As you shift it forwards, engage into the pecs. Squeeze the forearms together, lower halfway down. And tuck the toes. Inhale, find your back bend. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Find a nice soft breath. Engage into the whole body here. Inhale, look at the front of you. Easy walk to the top of the mat, folding forwards. Any forward fold you like, go for it. Maybe release into the wrists again. Grab onto opposite elbows. Whatever feels good. Inhale, halfway lift, pull the chest through. And then as you exhale, fold on the legs. Inhale, lift you all the way up and reach the arms nice and high. And then as you exhale, we'll fold it all the way back down. Hands on top of the legs or to the ground as you inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step. Is coming into a vinyasa. Again, feel free to drop the knees to the ground. Nice, strong body here. The whole body is engaged. The neck is nice and long. Gaze shifts out in front of you. As you shift it forward, way past the fingers. Wrap the elbows in, lower halfway down. Untuck the toes. Inhale, find your back bend. Keep pressing into the hands. And then as you exhale, tuck the toes under. Use your whole belly, downward facing dog. Ooh. Again, just like that. So inhale, look at the front of you, slowly walk or step, jump to the top of the mat, folding forward. Feet hip width distance apart or big toes together, little gap in the heel for traditional dance. As you inhale, halfway lift, pull the chest through, create the number 7, maybe the hands on top of the legs, and then as you exhale, fold forwards. Inhale brings you all the way up, reach the arms nice and high, and then as you exhale, fold all the way back down. Again, hands on top of the legs or to the ground, whatever gives you a long spine. As you inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, back plank pose right away on the same breath. Shift it forwards, wrap the elbows in, lower halfway down. And tuck the toes. Inhale, find your back bend. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Keep finding a nice soft inhale, nice soft exhale. If at any time you need or would like to take a child's pose or a seated position, then please feel free to. I'm just going to quickly take it. When you're ready, left foot to center. As you inhale, reach your right leg nice and high, 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, spread your right leg underneath that left leg. Spin the back foot down. Fallen triangle, left arm reaches up. So I always say, think of it as like a revolved side plank. Reach the hips nice and high, and if you're looking for an extra side stretch, reach the left arm over the head. Engage into the whole belly here. Slight pinch off the right ribs. Release the left hand to the ground, and then sweep your right foot behind you, 1-leg plank. If at any time you like to drop the left knee down behind your left hip, that is always welcome. Please do that. Engage into the whole body. Drop the right hip down. You're going to sweep your right leg towards the right and then back behind. So we sweep right, back for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sweep it back behind you, 3-legged dog, quick release in the quad, nice stretch, and then inhale, roll it forward, come back into a 1-leg plank, or again, drop the left knee down. Shift it forwards, wrap the elbows in, take a deep inhale, exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, lift, exhale, down. Elbows behind and in, inhale, lift, exhale, down. Inhale, lift you all the way up, 3-legged dog. And as you exhale, drop the left forearm onto the ground. Come into a funky downward dog. So the right leg stays lifted, left forearm onto the ground. Right hand is maybe a little bit wider. And we're still using the tricep and shoulder. So wrap the right tricep in. Really recruit it, okay? So you think about that chaturanga arm. The tendency here is for the right hip to lift. So can you drop it down? Can you zip the ribs in a little bit more? Shift the gaze out in front of you. Inhale, back forward. Exhale, back. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. If you can walk the left foot in, walk the left foot in a little bit more. Last one, nice. Adjust your stance, pressure up, 1 leg, downward dog. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, step your right foot forward. Squeeze into the inner thighs, easy twist towards the right. Feel free to drop the left knee down. Keep wrapping the right outer glute in and back. Take a big inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, pivot 10 toes towards the right. Falling lunge. So you're on the pinky side of both feet. If it feels too much for the outer right glute, walk the right foot down a little bit more. Inhale, return back to the top of the mat, lower lunge. Squeeze into the inner thighs. You're going to step it back, sorry. Side plank, forgot about this. If you prefer to do this next bit with the left knee drop down, if that catches your breath a little bit better, or the left forearm, you're more than welcome to do that. Remember where you are, recognize how you are in this side plank, yeah? You can always drop the hands on top of the hip. Pulses off the hip for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift your right leg high. And as you exhale, step your right foot forward. Coming back to that easy twist in the lunge. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, release your right hand to the mat. Scoot your right foot way over towards the left. Okay, so if this is too much, again, for the outer right hip, scooch the right foot down a little bit more. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Send your left shoulder forward so the chest is facing forward. And then drop the hip down. So think of this as being an extended, I don't know, pigeon pose kind of vibe. Same on the hands, or you can lower down. This is kind of a quick reset, quick stretch after the hard work that we just did. Tuck the left toes under. When you're ready, three-legged dog, right leg reaches up. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, step your right foot forward. Shorten the stance a little bit as you spin the back foot down. Hips are facing forwards as you rise up, set up for your pyramid pyramid stance, okay? So press a lot into that left heel, engage into this left quad. And you're squeezing into the inner thighs. Take a deep inhale, exhale, reach your left arm forwards, take a bow. Pull back on that right hip, and then again, remember to keep pressing into that left heel. Grab a block, a chair, a stool, easy twist towards the right. Oops. So right hand onto your lower back, find your sacrum. You can stay here if you like, right arm reaches up. You can always drop down 3 levels of the block. If you feel okay without the block, then obviously you're more than welcome to. What tends to happen here is I see a lot of this, where we kind of, sorry, not that much, that's a bit exaggerated. We kind of think that we're adding in a twist by swinging the right hip out and then chest towards the left. But it's not really doing anything. So you need to send the left shoulder forward and really pull back on that right hip. Take a big inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, seated twist. Right knee, or left knee, sorry, to the outside of that right foot. Sitting bones are grounded. Right big toe is grounded as well, so you want a happy lower back. If this feels too much for you, you know, you're sort of like lifted, which is also a common thing I see for the big toe to be lifted, or the right sitting bones to be lifted. I'd unwrap the legs and then keep the twist this way, okay? So take a deep inhale, find your length, and as you exhale, gentle twist. Maybe shift the gaze towards the right shoulder. Slowly coming back through center, we're going to lie on the right side. So stack the knees on top of each other, right knee tucks in or the left leg long, you know, whatever keeps you going. Shoulder on top of shoulder, hip on top of hip. Engagement here. Give yourself a hug with the right arm, underneath. So thread your right arm underneath the left armpit. The left hand walks out maybe just halfway between the floor and the mat. Index finger roughly facing forward. So again, remember the inner palm needs to stay grounded. Wrap the elbow in, engage into the tricep. And then inhale, lift. And then exhale, lower the right shoulder halfway down. Look at this elbow and the tricep is still wrapped in, okay? Really important here. Inhale, lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, find your breath, 5, take rest if you need to, 4, 3, 2, last one, hold it halfway down, tiny pulses here for 10, smile, 9, I feel it, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Square yourself off to the front of the mat, right shin forwards, pigeon pose. Maybe just wiggle around in the hips quickly, side to side. Left hand on top of the left shoulder, sink the armpit towards the ground, just a gentle stretch here. Might be here for too long, so take a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, walk yourself over towards the right. And then come in all the way back up. Hands to the ground, tuck the back toes under, three-legged dog, right leg reaches up. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the big toes together, little gap in the heels. As you inhale, rise up onto the tippy toes, shift the gaze out in front of you, step and jump to the top of the mat. Chair pose. Bend your knees, imagine you're taking a chair, perching on the chair. Zipping the ribs in, stick the bottom out, knees roughly on top of the ankles. Nice engaged back. Take a big inhale, exhale, hands together. So inhale, create your length. Exhale, we'll twist towards the left first. Careful not to send the knees and the hips with you. Keep them facing forward as you just twist the torso. You can stay here. If you like, hook your right elbow to the outside of that left knee. Watch your knees and the hips. Stay honest in your practice. You can stay here if you like, arms extend. You can stay here if you like. We're going to come into that side crow. So I'm going to talk you through it. If you've done this video before, then you kind of know what I'm on about. If you know how to get into the side crow, then obviously practice. If it's not in your practice, you know, sit down, take a rest, or just skip. If you want a little bit longer, hip pause. So this side crow will need to really find that rotation towards the left. So you need to really draw the belly and the ribs in. There's a few things that you can do in your side crow. Number 1, grab a block, or 2. This block will come underneath the free hip, so the left hip. And then hands to the ground about shoulder width distance apart. This is why, you know, all the little cues that I've given you and all the techniques that I've given you build up to that side crow. So it's really important here. I'm not just, you know, saying it for the hell of it. Hands to the ground. So you can just practice, just leaning forwards. Yeah. Wrapping the elbows in. The hip. Kind of, the block obviously helps with the hip. You can also place a block underneath the head and just lean forwards. Another thing that you can do, which you will see a lot of people doing, is creating a shelf with the arms. Right elbow to the outside of that left knee, left elbow to this hip, this meaty bit of the hip. That's okay to do, there's nothing wrong with that at all, but, you know, if you kind of, I don't want to say if you're serious with about the practice, if you want to learn how to engage into the right muscles, recruit into the right muscles, then you kind of gradually need to lean away from using the shelf. Another thing what tends to happen in arm balances, I'll probably say in general, is the chest collapses forwards, you know, we get really low towards the ground, and then the hips pike up. You know, if you notice, if you lean towards the ground, you're not really engaging into the pecs as much, and so kind of avoid doing that as well. And another thing, you know, I've lost how many things there are, but this free shoulder tends to internally rotate. You kind of compromise. What you need to do is think about spreading across the shoulder blades, so not quite like a cat pose, almost like a cat pose, and spread across the chest. Squeeze the 2 forearms together, so you can just kind of picture it here. When you squeeze the 2 forearms together, notice how much the pecs engage, biceps switch on, the left shoulder is nice and open, yeah? Again, it's okay if you internally rotate every now and then. You're not going to constantly practice a side crow or whatnot, or the transitions, but what we're trying to do is we're practicing getting out of bad habits, and we're practicing not incorporating a lot of injuries into the body. I'm babbling. So that's why I said skip if you've already heard that before. So the shelf looks like this. Left elbow to the meaty part of the right, the left hip, right elbow to the knee. Hands about shoulder width distance apart, find the twist, so the knees roughly face forward. You're going to rock forwards, gaze out in front of you, squeeze the heels towards the glute, yeah, and then lower all the way down. That's so nice to do. If you want to try, we're going to send the right elbow to the middle bit-ish of the thigh. Left elbow grazes the hip. Oh, let's try and do this. This is the second time I've had to film this. Not making a goose or anything. So hands shoulder width distance apart. You're going to shift the gaze out in front of you. Recruit the tricep. You're going to shift forwards. Lean forwards. And then lift it up. Notice how I'm engaging into the upper back. Elbows wrapped in, free shoulder, open chest, heels towards the glute. Yeah, so you can stay there. Or you can practice with the legs straight to the side. I don't know if I'm ready to do that again. But I will try my best because that's all you can do in the practice, right? Twist. Find your arm. Shift the gaze forward. Shift, shift, shift. Draw the belly in. Squeeze. And then extend. Oh, you can also rest on top of the block. That's a nice little cheat. There you go. Take a quick rest. Shake out the wrists. That's a lot of talking that I did, so hopefully you got that. But it's also really important to go through how to do an arm balance if that is what you want to do, if that is what you're looking for in a practice. Calm your breath down, refocus, close down the eyes if you like, shake off the wrist. And being in an arm balance isn't for everyone. It's not in everyone's practice. It doesn't make you a good yogi, a great person if you come into an arm balance. Always remember that, okay? When you're ready, be blessed with 2 legs, 2 arms. We'll come to the other side, like I always say. Return back to a downward facing dog. Reset your breath here again. We'll do 3 controlled breaths together. So take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Nice long slope along the spine here. Bend your knees if you need that to happen. 2 more times like that. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. 1 last time. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Soften in. Right foot to center. As you inhale, lift your left leg nice and high. Exhale, forward triangle. Left leg threads underneath the right. Spin the back foot down. Right arm reaches up. Take a big inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, right hand finds the ground, 1 leg plank, sweep your left leg behind. So again, drop the right knee down, if that's where you're at today. Keep engagement, sweep the left leg to the side, and then back behind you for 9, 8, engage into the oblique, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, squeeze the forearms together, 2, last 1, 3-legged dog, left leg reaches up. Take a big inhale, exhale, 1 leg plank again. Feel free to drop the knee down. Take a deep inhale through the nose. If you're lifting the knee up, it will look like this, nothing changes. Squeeze the elbows in, lower halfway down. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale down. 1 last time, inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift all the way back up, 3-legged dog. Exhale, drop the right forearm down, adjusting hands, coming to that funky downward dog. So notice how this left hip wants to open up to compensate. You can drop the left hip down. If you've got space in the right hamstring, maybe you can walk the right foot in a little bit more. Shift the gaze out in front of you, rocking forward and back. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, breathing, 2, 1. Push into the base, downward dog. Adjust yourself if you need to. Step your left foot forward. Easy twist towards the left. Again, feel free to drop the right knee down. This is your nice break from the arms. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. Wrap the left outer hip back. You're going to lean right, step it into a side plank, whatever variation. Make sure you can stay nice and soft, breathe. Stack shoulder on top of shoulder, hip on top of hip. Pulses of the hips up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step the left foot forward. I might have missed this out actually. So pivot 10 toes towards the left, rolling onto the pinky side of the feet, falling lunge. Again, adjust your left foot down if you need a little bit more space. Take a deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale, pivot 10 toes back towards the top of the mat, lower lunge. Keep squeezing into the inner thighs. Take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, ground your hands, walk your left foot over towards the right, land your left outer hip towards the ground. So again, think of it as an extended pigeon pose. If this feels too much, then you can just bring the left foot down. Or maybe just onto a regular pigeon, if that feels better, to be honest. Nice soft breath. Tucking the back toes under, 3-legged dog, left leg reaches up. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, step your left foot forward. Spin the back foot down, adjust your stance, shorter, twisted pyramid pose. So again, grab the block or the stool if you need to. Reach your left arm up to the lower back. Right hip point forwards, left hip back. Remember to be honest with your practice, so if you need to use a prop, use the prop. Sending the right knee to the outside of that left hip. Half seated pose. Sitting bones grounded, left big toe grounded. Or again, just widen the stance a little bit to get that to happen. Inhale, create your length. Exhale, gentle twist. So now we'll come to lie on the left side. This is everyone's favourite bit. Right hand to the ground, just half on the mat and to the ground. Left arm wraps under, lie down, take a quick breather. And then we'll lower up and down halfway. For 10, 9, right tricep in, 8, 7, breathe, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway down pulses here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn towards the front of the mat, left shin forwards. Pigeon pose, wiggle into the hips, settle in here. Triceps is always often an underworked muscle for a lot of us, or just generally weak anyway. Right, hand on top of the shoulder as you sink the armpit towards the ground. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, walk yourself over towards the left. And then coming back through center, hands to the ground. Tuck the right toes under, 3-legged dog, left leg reaches up. Take a big inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look at the front of you, big toes together. Exhale, step or jump to the top of the mat. Chat pose. Find your foundation here, squeeze into the inner thighs. Take a big breath in, exhale, hands together. So inhale, create your length. Exhale, twist towards the right. Keep an eye on the hips and the knees, don't cheat yourself. Take a big inhale, you can stay where you are. If you like, left elbow to the outside of the knee. You can stay here if you like, maybe stretch the arms. You can stay here if you like, we're going to go into that side crow. Second time round, I'm not going to talk as much, you know what you're doing. Grab the blocks if you need to. Find that twist. Maybe you're finding the shelf. And just play, you know, don't be so serious, but obviously engage into the right muscles so you don't create injury. Rise up onto your tippy toes, shift the gaze out in front of you, lean forwards, take the shallow approach if you like, rock it back, inhale forward, exhale back. You can stay where you are like that. Oh, I think I might be a far away. Start playing and find what works for you. Then we're going to wrap it in, engage into the heels. You can stay where you're at. or you can extend, push into the ground, extend, and then lower. Woo. It's hard. Unbalances are hard. Keep playing, keep going. Hit pause if you want a little bit longer. I don't tend to teach unbalances in classes because it just requires a lot of, time, skills to get into it. You need to build up, working into individual muscles, understand what you need to do and what muscles need to be used in the poses. And to be honest, not a lot of people are there. I don't want to create, like I always say, bad habits and injuries. I'm not the best at unbalances by all means, but I've learned over the years on how to be in your yoga practice, what you need to let go of, what you need to work on. It's not about perfection. And that's why I don't teach workshop on balances and teacher trainings and stuff, because, I'm not perfect, I'm not amazing at balances. I don't actually practice a lot of them myself. So, yeah, keep going. If you want to take a rest, take a rest. Reconnect with your breath, shake off the wrist, Ooh, there's a lot on the wrist today. Find your breath, roll it around. Either come to a child's pose or a downward facing dog. Take your time arriving there. Maybe vinyasa through, step back. As you inhale, lift your right leg nice and high, roll it around. And as you exhale, step your right foot forward. Squeeze into the inner thighs as you inhale, lift all the way up for your high lunge. And as you exhale, twist towards the right. Notice how my back knee bends to avoid leaning forwards. Maybe shift the gaze over the right middle finger. Right hand down the back leg, left arm reaches up and over. Stretch, expand into the left ribs. Inhale, lift you all the way up for your high lunge, arms towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend into that left elbow, find your tricep stretch. Maybe catch the elbow if it's in you today. Interlace the fingers, use a strap or, I don't know, what are they called? Bathrobes strap. Zip the ribs in and down. Maybe create a side bend over towards the right. It should feel nice in this oblique hip flexor. Lifting all the way up. Keep twisting towards the right. Land all the way down. Ooh. Stack the knees on top of each other. If that doesn't feel good, you feel like awkward like this, you can come for double pigeon. And again, if you're like awkward like this, it doesn't quite happen, please prop yourself up with pillows or bricks, to make it comfortable. We're stretching the outer right hip, or come to a cross leg, right shin forwards. Wherever you are, sit nice and tall, take a big breath in. You can stay where you are. If you feel good, you want a little bit more, or begin to fold forwards. Soften back in. And just enjoy this stretch. And coming all the way back up. The right hand finds the ground slightly outside the right hip. Take a big inhale, reach your left arm nice and high. And then as you exhale, take a big side stretch. Maybe land onto the forearms or keep on top of the hands. Stretching the left side, so keep grounding into the left sitting bones. Keep the chest open. So again, another thing I see is this. The shoulder and the chest starts to roll in and you feel really awkward. I feel like people still can't breathe here. Try to looking for openness wherever you are, so the left hand can always come behind the head in order to keep the chest open. Again, it's always about being honest in your practice and not cheating. Cheating doesn't get you anywhere. We all know that. And then lifting all the way up. Just something fun for you to think about and to do. Cross your right foot over. So again, we're coming back to the half-seated pose. Coming back to another version of a side crow. Just so why not? You're going to twist towards the right. Scoot your left foot closer towards the glute. Right hand, or both hands to the mat, sorry. Find your shoulder width distance apart, your chaturanga arm. Notice how I'm really twisting and I'm using my left elbow to twist towards the right. You're going to lean up, hands find the ground, and you're just going to tippy toe, And then you're going to lean it forwards and then keep the legs twisted as you push into the ground. Nice open chest. And then step it back, downward dog. Or, I don't know, jump through if you more hardcore. Breathe, blubber. And then come back to the controlled inhales and exhales. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, reach your left leg nice and high. Maybe roll it around. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Find your base. Inhale, rise all the way up for your high lunge. Settle in. Take a big breath in. Exhale, twist towards the left. Split the arms nice and wide. Gaze over the left middle finger if you like, or maybe towards the ground. Inhale, come back to center. High lunge, arms towards the ceiling. And then we'll bend into the right elbow. Find that tricep stretch. Yeah. Use the head as a self-assist. And maybe you'd like to side bend over towards the left. I've forgotten something. So, as per usual, come back into the twisted, revolved high lunge. Left hand down the back leg, right arm reaches up and over. There we go, even out. And then return all the way back up. Keep twisting towards the left. Land your seat to the ground, I think. For that. Cow facing. Double pigeon, easy crossed. Pick your poison. Then nice and strong, keep breathing. Still find a bit of engagement, pressing to the sitting bones. You can stay where you are. If you like, you can fold forwards, prop yourself up if you like. And the block can always go underneath the head. And then coming all the way back up. Left hand to the outside of the left hip as you inhale, reach your right arm high. And as you exhale, side bend over. Again, maybe the hand can go behind the head to keep the chest open. And then lift all the way up. Come back to that half-seated. So let me see if I can show you from the front. This is what it looks like from the front. Rise up onto the tippy toes. Once you find your hands on the ground. Done it really awkwardly. So you're going to twist, lean it forwards, rock it forwards, squeeze the heels towards the glute. Use your hamstring, broaden, lift up, lift up. You don't have to do this, by the way. And then lower all the way down. This time round, we'll come to sit all the way down. Legs stretched out in front of you. Take a big inhale, sit nice and tall. Stay where you're at. If you like, begin to lean forwards. Forget about trying to touch the toes. Everyone always seems to think that's the goal. Just touch your toes. The goal is to stretch the hamstrings and to feel good, so ignore that. If you feel like you're rounding, it kind of takes the stretch out of the hamstring, so please sit on the edge of a block or cushion to lift the pelvis up, and then you can find more of a tilt. You can also keep the knees slightly bent if you don't have that, but you can always use cushion, so you don't really have an excuse. And then you're going to fold forwards. Coming all the way back up, we're going to reverse our tabletop. Just open up into the front body because we've done a lot of closing off. Hands behind you. Fingertips facing towards the feet, hip width distance apart, puff the chest forward. You can stay where you're at if you like, lift your hips, engage into the glutes, lift up. You can always rock side to side, maybe bring the seat to the heels and then bounce it back, you know. And then lower all the way down. And then we'll come to lie all the way down. Hugging the knees in. And gently rock side to side. Just massage into the lower back and into the tops of the glutes. Whenever you're ready, send the knees over towards the right, shift the gaze towards the left. And allow the arms to fall wherever feels good. Soften into your breath. Coming back to center, hop the hips towards the right as you send the knees over towards the left. Maybe turning the head towards the right. Again, just soften in here. And all we're doing here is just nothing as we begin to wind it down a little bit more. Coming back to center, hug the knees in, rocking side to side. Taking a big inhale through the nose, really feel it all the way to the top. And then as you exhale, release the legs out in front of you, arms by your sides, palm faces up, eyes closed. Final pose. You can stay here as long as you need to. If you're ready, we'll gently begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Just slowing or just showing flickers of awareness. Beginning to roll onto the right side. Just feeling super heavy here. Sink your right side into the ground. And then using the hands to slowly push all the way up. Come into a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes nice and closed. Sitting tall. Reconnect to your breath and to your body and to the mind. Taking a big inhale through the nose. And a full complete exhale. Bring the hands together and bow the head forwards. Show love and gratitude to yourself and to this practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.